all sugars are created equal, and today we're going to be breaking down the difference between the sugars that are designed the way that God designed them and working for your body, and the ones that might just be secretly working against you and your weight loss. Perhaps you are trying to stay away from sugar and you haven't been able to break the weight. It feels like this isn't working, and today we're going to dive into that. Hi friends, I'm Renee Rasheva, and welcome to the Freedom Table podcast. It's with great joy that you're here, and if we're just meeting for the first time, the Lord helped me lose weight in 2018 in what felt like a supernatural way. I lost 40 pounds. The Lord broke the sugar addiction in that time, and I know He wants to do the same for you because He has not made us to be in bondage. He has set us free. He's done something miraculous, and I believe that some of the natural information that I'm going to be sharing with you will help you level up and understand what might be holding you back on your weight loss, because there's a reality. There are things when I was actually before I lost all of the weight, I had gone through a period where I was eating healthy and I was eating very whole and organic. I was eating organic cane sugar, and I saw the goodness, like the importance of eating that way. I saw the importance of eating organic and not doing GMO and all of that stuff. But yet I wasn't losing weight and I was still gaining. And I didn't understand why. And I think that these things today that I'm sharing you will give you that. And if you stick around to the end, we've got not just natural ways to help you break free from your sugar addiction, but we've also got, yes, a biblical truth that I believe is going to set you on fire. It's going to give you just this passion to help soothe your soul and take away that craving from the sugar. So stay tuned for that one. But now we're going to dive in. So we're going to be going through a bunch of different kinds of sugars, because if you can understand the difference between them, then I believe that you can understand what you need to eat and how you need to go about your day-to-day so that you can be successful in your weight loss. I know a lot of people who have tried. Let me know in the comments. Have you tried to get rid of sugar? And maybe you're going through the drive-thru, and instead of ordering your normal sugary latte, you order a sugar-free, or you do some different things that are still substitutes. But are those substitutes actually hurting you? And are they actually accomplishing the sugar detox, or are they actually fueling those cravings and making it worse? So let's dive in. So first, we're going to be talking about glucose. I actually have some fun pictures here this time today. We've had people share in the comments actually questioning, but God made sugar, and sugar is supposed to be for our body, and we need it to run on. We need the sugar for energy, for our brain, and for all of those things. And that's true. And we're going to get into the distinction between that, because if you don't know the distinction, that weight is going to stay stubbornly on your body. So here's the first one. We would love to take a quick break to tell you about this opportunity. In 2018, the Lord helped me lose weight in what felt like a supernatural way. It felt like it was just melting off of me, and I ended up losing 40 pounds. And so I've put together a free ebook that I believe the Lord wants to give to you. It's got 5 truths to your effortless weight loss. And in that book, I share the one biblical truth that the Lord showed me that helped me really step out of striving and step into an ease of His grace to walk in freedom for my weight loss. And I believe He has the same for you. We also have it in an audiobook version. So I encourage you to click the link below in the comments, or go to www.feastingin.eden.com to pick up your free ebook today. First one is glucose. And glucose is absolutely something that our body needs. It is 100% an amazing nutrient, something that God wants. But if we have too much of it, what ends up happening is that it gets stored into fat cells. And I'm going to be using some analogies. I made my little kindling sticks here. And glucose, you can think of it more as kindling wood. So when you eat it, When you eat bread, wheat, grains, some starchy potatoes, your main carbs and like the white starchy foods, when you eat those are going to actually go very quickly to your bloodstream. It's going to spike. That's what happens. Like just like you're lighting a match and you're lighting something to burn wood. It's going to start, and it's going to start fast. It's going to give you quick energy. And it's going to make your body work super hard. Now, if you get a lot of these and that's all you eat and you're just eating carbs, then you're going to end up finding that you're going to crash later on. So just like kindling wood, it lights, but then it immediately goes out. Right? Probably about 15 minutes, 20 minutes later. So if you find that you eat like a breakfast in the morning, say you eat a muffin from Starbucks or your own homemade muffin or your bread, your toast or oatmeal, your cereals, all of the diets that we tend to have in the morning are bagels. What that's going to do is it's going to spike your blood sugar. It's going to make you have fast energy. You're going to feel good for a moment, but then in a couple hours or maybe even less, your body is going to crash. And this, my friends, is super key to understand because your body is processing these as sugar in your body. And this was key for me because I used to eat just bread and all of this stuff like, organic pasta and organic this and organic that, but I didn't know that it was actually really hard on my body. So it's going to go up, it's going to crash, and then you're going to find that you are craving and wanting more in a couple hours instead of being satisfied long term. So it's kindling wood, guys. That kindling wood is very detrimental to our body. It's good for a moment unless it's not, right? So if you want to eat carbs and you want to eat those kind of things, you need to make sure, this is going to be your tip for eating these foods, you're going to need to clothe your carbs. You're going to need to eat your salad and vegetables, some meat and protein. Eat that all before. Clothe your carbs before you eat them. And then your body will be able to digest them because it has the nutrients and the substance and fiber of the vegetables and the protein. And the next one is going to be fructose. So this is going to be like lighter fluid. This is a quick processed food and this is a quick sugar, and this is going to be inside of all your candies, your high fructose corn syrup. This is going to be all of your non-God-made products. God didn't make these foods. Man did. And you can see in other videos that I talk about how we broke them down, how food companies broke down particles and made them into slurries and all that stuff. The point is that a lot of processed foods have high fructose corn syrup or other syrups, additives, sugars in all kinds of names. And what that is going to do, it's going to go automatically to your liver. And what it does in your bloodstream, just like lighter fluid, it lights up. It's like a quick burn. It's going to make your body and your bloodstream just automatically spike. It's going to spike that blood sugar, and it's going to go and be stored as fat in your liver right away. It doesn't have other places. The body doesn't actually have a need for this and doesn't have a need for this type of sugar. And so it's going to overwhelm your liver. It's going to increase your cravings, and it's going to put belly fat on you. Like if you can't get rid of stubborn belly fat and that's all you struggle with, maybe every other part of your body is okay, I would consider looking at your foods. Are you eating processed foods with these other weird names? And also, are you eating them with this high sugary stuff? And if you can think of it as that, you have to see it as the energy source that it is, because it's true that God made our bodies to have an energy source. He made our bodies to need something to run on, to keep the engine going. Just like the fire is the engine, it keeps us going, the wood or the source that it is. But the problem is if it's not something that's sustainable in our body, then it's going to store stuff in as fat. So let me know, like, have you noticed And I just want you to know about this particular category is that it does include, like I mentioned before, high fructose corn syrup. And that, my friends, is probably one of the worst. This is one of those things that will keep those cravings coming back for more. It's like the food companies really understood that this one particular ingredient of this high form of sugar content is absolutely addictive and is absolutely making you crave. And it makes you feel kind of strange in your body and feel bloated and weird, but it's making you come back for more. So if you're struggling with addiction and with food addiction, I'd love to propose to you that one of the reasons you are is because of the type of sugar that you're eating and the type of sugar that you're feeding your body. High fructose corn syrup and processed sugars are actually one of the main reasons why you can't seem to get over it. So we're going to keep going, and we're going to be sharing just one bit. We're going to share some good news here because, man, it feels like, oh, I can't eat bread, or are you saying I can't eat bread? We'll get into that. We'll share kind of a summary of all of this. And then now we have like our processed food and sugars. Like, what am I going to do? It feels hopeless. Well, I want to share with you one other form of fructose because people think this is a lie and a myth that is floating around there. That fruit is fructose. But people a lot of times will say, well, see, there's sugar in fruit, so it's really bad for you. And you can't eat it. Like, you can't have this kind of fruit. You can't have this kind of fruit. Guys. Can I just say God made the fruit? God made all of the fruit in the world. And yes, I know some people say that we've modified it and changed it and, all of that. But here's the deal. In your fruit, it's wrapped in fiber. And so you've got sugar inside of the fruit, but it also has this beautiful fiber packaging it. And your body, instead of your blood spiking right away and moving into fat cells, what it does is it actually burns long. It takes a while to process that fiber, and it takes a while for it to go through the bloodstream. So you're not going to have those quick crashes because your body isn't going to spike near as much with fruit. And so here you want to know you're going to have steady energy, and this is going to be satisfying. Why? Because God created it. God created sugar for pleasure and sugar to nourish us and sugar to help us. Like, he didn't create it something detrimental and hard on us. No, he created it really good. But here's what this does. Because of the fiber, it gives us this long, steady energy, and it's like regular firewood. And you put a good log on that fire, and it's going to burn long, and it's going to go further. And when you pair it even with some protein, it's even better. So fruit, I enjoy in all kinds of forms. I do know that like a banana might spike your blood sugar a little more, some oranges. Here's the thing to be cautious with about the fruit sugar is actually it becomes fructose and worse in your bloodstream when you actually drink it as a juice. So maybe you should rather opt instead of for fruit juice or for a fruit smoothie to go with the whole fruit, and then you can maybe put it into something else, dress it up. Don't make it super boring. Like, I like to eat my fruit with nuts, maybe even a little bit of drizzle of honey, and put some cinnamon on it, and it's going to be golden. So highly recommend that. Now we have another sugar. So the glucose and the fructose do two different things, right? The glucose, it spikes your blood sugar fast. It makes you go really quick. It gives you quick energy, and then you crash. And the fructose, it goes straight to your liver because it has nothing to do, and it gives you intense cravings. But we also have sucrose, and sucrose is a mixture of the two, and that's half glucose and half fructose. And I know this is big names and all of that, but it's just to tell you that actually what's found in our table sugar, so in your brown sugar, your cakes, your pastries, oh gosh, all of our favorite things. And I'm recording this at Christmas time. Renee, how can you do this at Christmas time? Oh my gosh. We're inundated and overloaded with sucrose this time of year, and fructose from our little snacks and candies and all of that stuff. And then we're probably adding on a nice big breakfast with lots of bread. So we're I'm sorry. I don't want to make your holidays worse. I want to make your holidays and every holiday hereafter better because I have some solutions that I promise are going to be amazing and delicious and actually make you feel better in the end. So stay along with me because we're going to get there. But this is what's happening in your body when you're eating those cookies and those cakes and all your pastries and everything that you love, I'm sure. If you're watching this video, maybe you've already given up sugar, but maybe a lot of you are like, I just want to break up with sugar and I can't and I don't know how. And like, will anybody set me free? And I hope that this information is going to set you free because if you can see what it's doing in your body and the reason why you're feeling this pull, I think it's going to help. I really do. So here's the deal. When you're eating the table sugar, so anytime you're putting like 2-3 tablespoons of sugar in your coffee, and then you're getting a muffin with this white sugar, and you're having a latte with the high fructose corn syrup, and you're having all of that combined. But this particular one, what's happening is you're getting a paper fire. So if I set this paper on fire right now, it would be fast. It would hit your bloodstream super fast, and then you would crash. Your body would crash, and you will find that this form of sugar is actually highly, highly, highly addictive, especially for women, because this is what's happening in your body. It's coming in with quick energy. It's making it go up, but then you get that afternoon slump. So here, this is how I was eating regularly all the time. I was eating for breakfast, like a Panera bagel with some cream cheese, and I'd get a coffee. I drank it black, but I already had that morning crash from the glucose in it, right? A couple hours later, I'm like ready, craving for more, and I feel a little bit slumpish, probably by noon or by 1 o'clock, and I'm going for my lunch. Now, for my lunch, I'm having bread and a sandwich, maybe a little bit okay because you've got the protein and stuff, but I still felt very sluggish after I ate this lunch. And then I would eat chips because I loved chips with a sandwich, and I would eat a cookie or some big dessert afterwards. So I combined this heavy glucose meal filled with bread and grains along with my sugary snacks, my sugary dessert. And let me tell you, I remember so many times. I used to work in an office at a law firm. I actually work at a law firm now, but not in the same office. And we ended up, I would go out for lunch almost every day, and I would do this regularly. And I'd come back and I wanted to sleep. Oh my gosh, so many times I dreamed. Let me know in the comments if you've ever dreamed for something like this. I would dream for a nap room. And in my mind, I was I'm like, why in the world has nobody set up like in a mall or some little like studio somewhere, a place that you can buy and rent a space for like 20, 30 minutes to take a good nap? Because I desperately need it. And even sometimes I ended up laying and sleeping in my car because I was so tired. But when I was done, like sometimes that's when I would have my like sugary coffee drink at the end or another drink of coffee at the end. And I found myself like slumping through the day and the afternoon. And that's because this guy is really, really addictive, and it's fast. It makes your body feel heavy, and there's reason that it's doing it. So sorry, guys, for sharing this to you on the holiday season. What are you going to be enjoying for the holidays and as treats and all of that? I have some ideas later on. The next one is going to be our lactose. So lactose is the dairy sugar, and this one is really tricky. It's a little bit here and there. Like I actually never even considered this one until I started to do my research. And when I did, I was like, okay, I'll put this in here because I saw a difference. And we're not doing this episode specifically on dairy, but I never actually realized that the sugar in dairy is what could be causing the problem. So lactose can be kind of like embers. It either can be really good and smoldering and still work okay in your body, right? If they're still like coals and glowing and nice, or embers can just start to be smoking and not actually have any fire, and they can just be more of a mess. And that's kind of like lactose. It can either be good in your body or it could be irritating in you. And that's when the bloating comes. And if you feel like a little bit just heavy and like irritated in your stomach, I didn't realize this. I often, another lunch I would have regularly. Let me know what your heavy carb and dairy and sugar foods are if you're experiencing this. But I loved pizza, I loved focaccia cheesy bread, and I didn't realize what all of this was doing to my body. And I thought, oh, I'm doing this in healthy form. But now I actually stay away from dairy quite a bit because I feel pretty bloated when I do it. I've heard that A2 dairy can help and can be good for you, or just sheep dairy and goat dairy. So if you're struggling with the one, maybe try the other. But it actually could be bothering you in ways that you didn't know. So you could always try getting rid of it and see if it's what it's doing in your body. I promise you we're getting there. We have a few more to go, but I hope that this is giving you any value. And if it is, I encourage you to hit the like button and the subscribe button, and that you feel encouraged, because if you can realize, again, what this is doing to your body, I think it's going to give you ways out. This is not to discourage you at all. And I used to feel, right, like diets and all of that, like, oh, you can't do sugar, you can't have something sweet, you can't have pastries, you can't have this and you can't have that. And that's exactly what I want to avoid with this episode. I just want to share and give light about the sugars that are secretly haunting and harming your body, because you want to be well, right? And this sugar is an issue, because whether you see the effects of it now in your body, maybe you're 20, maybe you're 30, maybe you don't see the effects of it or the impact, but I promise you, if you've reached your 40s, you've started to see your body change a bit, and maybe it's because you've been eating sugar okay for a while, but as time goes on, it continues to build and it continues to give that like look of, oh, you're actually eating sugar. And the reality is that your body, as you're getting older, especially if you're eating some of the sugars that go straight to your liver, you'll start to get that visceral belly fat around your body. And that's what's going to make your body keep going, like keep getting bigger. So I promise you, if you start to either eliminate some of these foods or change up your diet, you're going to notice a difference. So here's another one. We've got a couple more, and this one are going to be your sugar alcohols. Now, these are regularly quoted and touted as healthy sugars, and enjoy at any cost, enjoy how much you want, enjoy it all. You're going to be your xylitol, all your tols. I don't know. I haven't actually eaten them, but I know xylitol is definitely one of those keto sugars that everybody is like, this is really good for you. And it's true. It doesn't spike your blood sugar. So at least you've got that going for you. But what this is it's kind of like an artificial flame. It doesn't do anything in your body. It doesn't make your body go up or down. It just is like an artificial flame. It just is. But the reality is that your body, when you get the sweetness in your mouth, it starts to taste and treat it like your body is going to get something to eat, and like your body is going to get something sweet. Your body is going to maybe crave some things, and it's not going to satisfy you. Like, you're not going to feel satisfied after having a sweet with one of these sweeteners. You may even feel bloated. And for me, I just love to think of it. I love to eat simple. I love doing simple things for my food. Freedom is in the simplicity of what God has made. Freedom is in the simplicity of doing things just simple. And those things are finding the foods that honor God and that God made. The foods that God made are the foods that He made good for our body. So for me, while they might be okay, I would rather stay away from these. Which leads me to my last and favorite category. And I'm telling you, surprising, because you can do so many things with these all the things with these, and I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. So these are going to be your natural sweeteners, the sweeteners that God made. I would like to just say these are God's sweets, right? So you've got fruit, and you can explore the rainbow. You can do all things with those. Those are amazing and bright and brilliant. But then you can do these natural sweeteners. One of my favorites, if you saw my sugar video before, which I'll link it below, and maybe you'll see it up here, is the dates. Dates are one of my all-time favorites because this one does not spike your blood sugar near as much. It might spike it a little, but it actually, because of all of the fiber, it just goes even keel. I even saw like a reel on Facebook or somewhere, and the guy did with a glucose monitor a date, and he's like, there's so many grams of sugar, but look, it didn't spike my blood sugar at all. So I love using dates for everything. I even put dates inside of my tea. I drink tea, so I'll do tea lattes, or you could do it inside of your coffee. I'm sure it would be absolutely delicious. All you need is a NutriBullet. Put those dates in there with whatever other, I usually use like thick coconut cream, and then blend it up. You can add different spices and make it whatever you would like. Make it a gingerbread latte. And then once you do that, you can put it in your coffee. You can put it in your stuff. It's seriously so versatile. I make pies, I make cakes. I actually just made banana muffins for my son with dates. So all I did was blend up 6 dates and put them in as a substitute for whatever I was using. So I highly encourage you to look into using them. And even you can go to ChatGPT. If you're into using that, it's definitely a good tool for like searching, and you can ask it to give you the substitute for how you can substitute dates out with your normal recipes. The other ones are going to be your maple syrup, your raw honey, and your coconut sugar. Now, they all will spike your blood sugar a little bit, but God made honey, and he like put honey in the whole word, right? So honey is like a superpower. It has so many enzymes and great things. And if you get it from the local sources, you're going to get a lot of nutrients that you need. And you don't need a lot of it. It's not like it doesn't make your body like crave and go back for more. And that's the beauty of what God did with his sweeteners. He made it so that it is easy to digest, easy to consume. It's good for our body, but then it doesn't make us addicted. Let me just breathe that in. Breathe it in, because God didn't make sugar to be addictive. Man made sugar to be addictive. And man formulated and figured out just what you need to get dopamine hit after dopamine hit to help you coming back for more. But my friends, God didn't do that. He's not playing tricks on us. He gave us natural, amazing, from nature, sugary foods that are delicious and that actually nourish our bodies. So if you want a cake, you can have a cake. Find something with some dates, make it with some nuts. Oh my goodness, your mind will be blown. How amazingly delicious it is, not too sweet, and satisfying. So when you're done, you're not like, oh, I need 1,000,001 things of these. I'm actually super satisfied. So, my friends, I hope that this is giving you encouragement, because here is my natural tip that I promised. If you want to break the sugar addiction from your body, and you don't want to have to like go through that crazy fight and withdrawal, then I encourage you, get off all processed sugars. Look on your labels, because even in your salad dressings and even in all of your packaged foods, you will have all of these different types of sugars. There's 56 of them, like different names for sugars. So be on the lookout. Get rid of all of those. Get rid of all, like even for a time, try different bread. Like we can do an episode on bread. We're not going to go into that right now. But what you do is get rid of all of those things, and then grab some dates and eat them whenever you have a craving. Add some peanut butter, add some nuts, add something else to it, add some dark chocolate without any sugar in it. And that will the sweetness from the date will make it taste like delicious chocolate. So you don't have to feel deprived when you're trying to get off of sugar. You can actually feel nourished. You can satisfy that desire for something sweet, and you can have a really, really, really great way of getting off of it. And I promise you, you can make all of the same types of sweets that you make, but search for something with dates, search for something with almond flour, or I don't know if you do fresh milled grain. I don't do that. I haven't had time to look into it, but I would recommend just doing almond flour, and you're going to find that you have some sweets that are delicious, nutritious, and amazing. Well, friends, I want to leave you with just one last thing from the Bible that I promised at the beginning of this, and that is our spiritual tip to help you break free from sugar. And in Psalm 119, 103, I love this. It says, "How sweet are your words to my taste, sweeter than honey to my mouth." Oh my goodness. The beautiful thing is that what we are actually longing for and seeking and craving when we're having sugar is that we're craving for the Lord. We're craving for something deeper than what something sweet can satisfy. We're craving something way more. We're craving His love. We're craving His word. And when we actually get in here and we see His word as sweeter than honey. Oh, it really is. When you sit and you meditate and you read and you just, it's like it says it so many times. It speaks of it as food and as something nourishing. And so spiritually we're eating and meditating on the word, and it really is sweeter than honey. And say you're craving something, grab your dates. I think that's okay. But first grab the word and read it and meditate and say, Lord, I want to taste and see that you're good. I want to taste your word like honey to my soul. And I want to experience you in a new way. And I promise you, He's going to meet you in that sugar addiction. He's going to break it. He's going to help you step out of it, because let me tell you, we have been made to be free. And if you are still struggling with freedom and you're like, okay, I know all this information is good, well, then I encourage you to keep following and click the video below, because the Lord has a solution spiritually that says you are free and free indeed, and that you can walk in that freedom today. All right, friends, thank you for watching this episode. I'm so incredibly blessed that you're here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next podcast.